Hi, I'm Pip Waller. This is Being Human, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about hay fever. So hay fever, a lot of people suffer from it. It's thought about sort of medically as an allergy, which means that your immune system is reacting in a way to a substance as if it was dangerous to you, as if it was like something that you would want to try and keep out. So in the case of hay fever, it's pollen. So the pollen of maybe flowers, grasses, trees. Some people have hay fever to pretty much any kind of pollen. Then they suffer from very early in the season right the way through. Actually, some people have what feels and it seems like hay fever all year round. Somehow their body's always finding something to react to. So the typical symptoms, the full-on symptoms of hay fever, involves like your mucous membranes of your nose, throat and eyes. And the typical symptoms of it are to have in itchiness and inflammation in your eyes and your nose. So maybe sneezing, itchiness, pain, burning. You can have some people have a lot of mucus. Some people have quite commonly people have a headache. That's because there's mucus forming and collecting in the sinuses. So you can have a kind of sinus problem, which is pain and maybe tenderness to touch around here. The sinuses are little hollows or holes in the bones of your skull and your face that are lined with mucous membrane, just similar to what's in your nose. So what other things? Yeah, but often people are really tired and out of sorts with hay fever. So it can actually really spoil people's enjoyment of the outside and the enjoyment of the summer months. So it's only the 1st of March today. Happy St. David's Day, by the way, when I'm recording this. And but already people have started to get hay fever, which is why I'm making this video as a request. Because we've had a really unseasonably warm week or so in February here. In fact, we've had temperatures here in Wales like in up to 20, which is actually for us that can be a nice warm day in the summer. So a lot of things are flowering early, a lot of blossom. It's like spring is here already, even though normally it's not here for probably even at least another month. So people are thinking, oh no, I've already got my hay fever, and they don't usually get it until later. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some remedies that you can try. One of them is very, very simple, and that is to put some kind of a barrier, an oily barrier ointment, actually up your nose. And in India, they use ghee for this. Now, a really nice quality ghee, which you can quite easily make, by the way, by yourself at home, is basically it's clarified butter. That's butter that's been sort of simmered or boiled until the milk solids have separated, and then you pour off and collect just the pure fat. So actually, it's really tasty and smells nice. So actually, and it's got quite a medicinal a range of medicinal uses in Ayurvedic medicine. Anyway, you can take a bit of that, or you could get basically the herbal approach would be to have an oil with beeswax, quite a high amount of beeswax, maybe 15-20% of beeswax melted in an oil, and that could be just olive oil, or it could be sunflower oil or almond oil. It could be an oil that's already had a herb infused in it, and then you melt the beeswax and pour it in a little pot and it'll set. It's like a salve, same sort of stuff as lip salve. I mean, some people use Vaseline. I personally don't like Vaseline at all because it's a petroleum-based product. But some kind of an oily salve is what you want, like a nice lip balm of some sort. Just put it on your finger, and right up your little finger, and stick it up as far as you can go in your nose so that there's plenty on both nostrils. And that just literally acts as a barrier to stop the pollen that's irritating the mucosa in your mucous membranes of your nose. It literally just stops it being able to get to it. That can work as well. Some people have an allergy almost to sort of same kind of thing as hay fever, but an allergy to pollution. If they go to a city where there's a high level of pollution, they get a similar thing, or to dust or whatever. Just try the sticking up a bit of a barrier up there. And then herbally, I make a really nice mixture of of herbal. I usually use tinctures because this makes it very easy to take. And I put in something like elderflower, plantain, sometimes yarrow, chamomile, nettles, eyebright, and I use a little bit of ephedra as well. So that's a kind of general hay fever mix. So, you know, you can make your own, you can look things up, find herbs. I really recommend you try it. And the best way, the way that they work best is that if the sooner you take them, the better. So actually, when I've got people who they know they always get hay fever, and over the years they'll get their bottle of medicine a couple of weeks before the season starts, actually start taking it, and then they don't even get it in the first place. If you've only just started to get a little first signs of hay fever, you can use a medicine like that, and generally you'll be able to do away, you know, dampen down, stop your body reacting. But if you've had it for quite a while, if it's full on before you start the treatment, then it can take longer. Then I'd go for a very high dose for a period of time until getting on top of it, and it usually takes a bit longer to calm down. Because the immune system and allergies and that, it's a little bit like a, you know, accident, when there's an accident on the road, even on the other side of the motorway there's an accident, and all the traffic gets, even on your side of the road that hasn't got the accident, gets very slow because people sort of slow down probably to look at it, or maybe they're a bit shocked, and then you get this build up. So it's a bit like that with the immune system. When there is immune activity in an area, the more immune activity there is, the more white blood cells, immune cells, including the ones involved in allergies, get attracted to that area. So then the more inflammation sort of almost generates more inflammation. It's a bit like that. So if you've got a lot of the hay fever's really started and full on got you in its grip, you need to, it takes a bit longer for the herbs to calm it down. But anyway, that's my experience with herbs. They work really well for hay fever. I've got quite a lot of people that they might have taken the herb, they have had hay fever every year, they take the herbs, but after a few years or so of always taking the herbs and being on top of it, then they stop getting the hay fever. So that's quite a lovely thing too. You can make your own, or if you want, I'm quite happy to send people that mixture, my own hay fever mixture. If you need to private message me, find me on Facebook, or message me here with some way that I can connect with you and we can discuss that. One last thing about hay fever is I always like to think, you know, the plants, it's about flowers, and when plants are flowering, that's when they're most connecting with us. So if the plants are really calling your attention to them by making, you know, literally getting up your nose, maybe they got something to tell you. So getting into a bit of deeper nature connection, getting yourself more open to the amazing, beautiful, loving messages and healing that's coming from plants all the time. Maybe that's the secret. Thanks for listening. I'm Pip Waller. This is Being Human.